The Duchess of Kent has died at the age of 92. Buckingham Palace has announced with what it described as deep sorrow, a phrase that resonates not only within the royal household, but across the United Kingdom and beyond. Her death marks the end of a chapter in the long and often complex history of the royal family, and it is being received with a mixture of sadness, reflection, and celebration of a life that was both public and deeply private. According to the official statement, she passed away peacefully last night at Kensington Palace, surrounded by her family, a detail that provides comfort to those who admired her, for it suggests that in her final hours she was not alone, but held close by those who mattered most. As the news spread, the flags at royal residences, including the iconic Buckingham Palace, were lowered to half-mast, a stark visual reminder of the grief and respect being observed at the heart of the monarchy. It is in these moments of mourning that centuries of tradition show themselves once more as protocols and rituals honed over generations come into effect to honor those who have served the crown in their own way. The Prince and Princess of Wales spoke early on, releasing a statement in which they described the Duchess as a much-missed member of the family and praised her for having worked tirelessly to help others and supported many causes, including through her love of music. Their words reflect the essence of her public identity, one that went beyond the grand halls and royal ceremonies, reaching into classrooms, charities, and concert halls. Catherine, Duchess of Kent, had long been known as one of the more approachable and grounded figures in the royal family, a woman whose love of music was not merely symbolic, but deeply lived. Her influence stretched across multiple generations of royals and into the lives of ordinary citizens, a balance that few in her position have managed to strike with such grace. The Duchess, born Catherine Worsley, was the oldest living member of the royal family at the time of her passing. She was married to Prince Edward, the Duke of Kent, a first cousin of the late Queen Elizabeth II. This marital tie had placed her firmly within the orbit of the monarchy, yet she often carved her own path, while her royal role was one of duty, tradition, and public expectation. Her personal choices and passions often reflected a quieter rebellion against the rigidity of palace life. To the public, she was also a familiar presence at Wimbledon, where she became almost as recognizable as the players themselves. For years, she handed over trophies at the championships, her dignified figure stepping onto the court in moments of high drama. She was there not just for the victors, but also for those who fell short of the ultimate prize, offering comfort and empathy. In 1993, one such moment became immortalized when she consoled a tearful Jana Novotna, who had just lost to Steffi Graf after leading the match. The Duchess's embrace, gentle words, and willingness to stand with the defeated player in her moment of anguish earned her admiration around the globe. That moment, replayed countless times in tennis history, captured the essence of who she was, a woman capable of bringing compassion into spaces where triumph and loss collided. King Charles, who was in Balmoral in Scotland when the news reached him, was informed of her passing late on Thursday. Buckingham Palace quickly confirmed that there would be a period of royal mourning until the Duchess's funeral. This period, marked by symbolic gestures such as members of the royal family wearing dark clothes and troops on public duties donning black armbands, signals the respect owed to a life lived in service. For the king and queen, and indeed for all members of the family, her death is not just a ceremonial event, but a personal loss. The king and queen and all members of the royal family join the Duke of Kent, his children and grandchildren in mourning their loss and remembering fondly the Duchess's lifelong devotion to all the organizations with which she was associated. Her passion for music and her empathy for young people, the official statement read. Attached to the gates outside Buckingham Palace, the words became not only a declaration of mourning, but also an invitation for the public to share in the remembrance of a woman who had touched many lives. Among those sending condolences was Prince Harry, who, though estranged from many royal duties in recent years, reached out privately to the Duchess's family. His gesture underscores how moments of loss often bridge divides, no matter how wide. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer also offered a public tribute, praising the Duchess of Kent for bringing compassion, dignity, and a human touch to everything she did. For a political leader, these words were carefully chosen, but they ring true for those who followed her work. Her love of music was not only a personal passion, but also a public mission. She was a steadfast supporter of music charities, and famously taught music at a primary school in Hull. What made this chapter of her life extraordinary was the fact that she did so incognito. To her students, she was not Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Kent, but simply Mrs. Kent. She worked in the classrooms quietly, teaching children who had little or no knowledge of her royal identity. It was a decision that reflected both humility and determination, for she believed in the power of music to transform lives. This unusual choice became a defining aspect of her character, one that distinguished her from many other royals who preferred to maintain the separation between their official roles and private passions. The story of Mrs. Kent teaching music in Hull is remembered fondly and stands as one of the most humanizing and endearing aspects of her legacy. The date of her funeral has not yet been announced, but it is widely expected that the service will reflect her Catholic faith, which she embraced later in life. This conversion had set her apart within the predominantly Protestant royal family, but it was emblematic of her independence of thought and conviction. It is not yet clear which members of the royal family will attend, as the coming weeks are crowded with official engagements, including a state visit by President Trump. Prince Harry is also expected to be in the United Kingdom for charity events, raising questions about how the family will navigate both public duty and private grief. In the days ahead, perhaps the most enduring public images of the Duchess will remain her appearances at Wimbledon. Year after year, she was there, not merely as a spectator, but as a symbol of continuity and grace. In those moments on the court, handing trophies to champions and offering solace to those who had fallen short, she became a figure of empathy that transcended the formality of monarchy. For Jana Novotná, that moment of consolation in 1993 was life-changing. And 5 years later, when Novotná finally won the Wimbledon trophy, it was again the Duchess of Kent who handed her the prize. It was a poetic full circle, and the Duchess's presence gave it added resonance. Years later, when Novotná tragically died of cancer at the age of 49 in 2017, the Duchess spoke of her deep sadness at the loss, showing that the bond she formed with the player had gone beyond a single iconic moment. Her relationship with Wimbledon was not without controversy, however. Reports suggested that she later clashed with the All England Club after attempting to bring the 12-year-old son of a bereaved friend into the royal box, a request that reportedly caused tension with officials. Though such incidents are often magnified in the press, they also reflect the Duchess's willingness to put compassion above protocol, even when it came at personal cost. It was in such actions that her humanity often shone through. On Friday, tennis legend Martina Navratilova posted her own tribute, sharing a photograph of herself with the Duchess at Wimbledon. She wrote that it was amazing how many millions of people around the globe she affected in a positive way. These words from a global sporting icon underline how the Duchess's reach extended far beyond royal circles or even British society. She was not only present at sporting events, she was part of the stories, part of the moments that defined careers and memories. Her empathy was not performative but real, and those who met her often came away with the impression of someone who listened, who cared, and who connected on a personal level.